Hello, Facebook friends and fans. I'm Samantha Hart, Executive Editor of Lighting Magazine and the Meredith Luxury Home Portfolio. We're taking over Traditional Homes' Facebook feed live from Lightovation 2019 in Dallas. We're here at the Progress Lighting Showroom, where I'm going to be chatting with two very special guests, all about designing your smart home and why lighting is the very best place to start. But before we get too far, please let us know where you're tuning in from. Say hello in the comments box. Feel free to post any questions, and we'll try to get to those at the end of the session. I am thrilled to be here today with Christine Voss and Joe Rey-Barreau, our esteemed lighting experts who are going to be talking all things smart lighting. But first, I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves and tell you a bit about what they do.
Thanks, Samantha. Hi, I'm Christine Voss. I work for CSA. We certify lights like you see behind me, along with other products, to make sure they're safe for your home.
And I'm Joe Rey-Barreau. I'm an associate professor in the College of Design at the University of Kentucky. I'm also an architect and a lighting designer, and have done lighting education and training for many years in the industry.
And Joe, I hear you are called the lighting professor.
That's what I hear. Yes.
So can you please teach us a little bit about the basic fundamentals of a good lighting plan?
Right.
What would be in your Lighting 101 course?
So in residential lighting especially, there's a concept called layering. And layering is the idea that if you have a single light source in the ceiling, for example, it creates a very flat and uninteresting experience. So what we suggest always is to have multiple light sources. That you might have table lamps, you might have recessed lighting, you might have a chandelier. In the kitchen, you might have multiple sources, but the idea is to have more than one to create variety.
And Christine, you must see a lot of exciting trends in your field. So is there some particular innovation that you're really excited about right now?
Actually, the Wi-Fi enabled light bulbs along with Wi-Fi enabled switches. And what I love about these options are you can personalize them to suit your needs. If you want to change a setting in your kitchen, if you want to watch a movie, you can reach out to Alexa and say, hey, set the mood.
And what is a good resource for homeowners who want to find out more about these technologies?
I would advise, if you're a little intimidated about actually going and doing this on your own, to visit one of the lighting
ALA.
design showrooms.
An ALA member showroom, or pick up a copy of Lighting Magazine, which is on newsstands right now. The one thing I would say with smart lighting is I think there is a lot of consumer interest in it, but sometimes the stumbling block is simply a lack of knowledge or understanding of what the technology is or what the terminology even is. So can you explain a little bit about what a smart device is versus a connected device, say?
Sure. So a connected device, when you look at it, it basically is a direct connection. So if your window is open or it's just a direct source. When you have a smart option, it's something that's connected via wirelessly, so you can control it from anywhere as long as you have Wi-Fi connection.
So your smart home could have multiple connected devices within it.
Correct.
So where does lighting kind of fall into all of that? Like, what are some of the smart lighting options that you could have in your home?
So a smart light bulb, which changes color, it can dim at the touch of a button on your phone.
Because, Joe, I do know these smart light bulbs, you get these LED ones that actually change color, so you can tailor your lighting to complement the colors in your room's decor. Why would somebody want to do this? Why is it a good idea?
Well, there are multiple reasons why color changing. These are sometimes called RGB for red, green, blue, meaning that they can combine these colors to create almost any color that's available. And there is a really interesting new direction in terms of behavioral lighting with these color changing light sources where you can change the color of the light to affect your circadian rhythms, a lot of connection to our lighting and our health. So there's actually early developments in this research, but it's actually finding that if you can tune your lighting to your kind of daily experiences, it can actually make you feel much better.
And for those of you who are just joining us, I'm Samantha Hart. I'm the executive editor of Lighting Magazine and the Meredith Luxury Home Portfolio. I'm here with lighting experts Christine Voss and Joe Rey-Barreau. We're at the Progress Lighting Showroom at Lightovation in Dallas. We're talking all things smart lighting. And Joe was just telling us all about these LED smart bulbs. But there is a little bit of a hesitation on the part of some homeowners when it comes to LEDs. They say, well, the light's a little cold, it's a little blue, it's not that warm, radiant, incandescent light that I'm used to and comfortable with. What do you have to say to them?
Well, it is true. When LEDs were first developed, they were actually invented. The blue LED, which actually creates the white light that we use today, was invented in the late 90s. And it was by inherently its nature was a blue source. So many people are kind of associated with that blue source. Over the last 20 years, that technological development has allowed them to become, and I say this with great honesty, equal to or better than incandescent or halogen. So you just have to really go to these showrooms that we've discussed to see the difference in the benefits that these LED bulbs can provide you.
Now, when it comes to smart lighting, some consumers might be concerned about cybersecurity because, of course, you have internet connectivity by nature of having a smart lighting system in your home, and there are some inherent risks with that. And so how would you put people's minds at ease?
First of all, don't be scared. There's simple tests or simple tasks you can perform to make sure that you're protecting yourself. Complex passwords, don't click on any of the links that seem a little suspicious.
And also, don't necessarily buy the cheapest product out there.
Correct. Look for a name brand with certification, obviously. You want to make sure that it's a safe product. These are just little things you can do. I mean, updating the app and making sure that it's got the latest firmware for your devices is definitely key.
But it seems like ultimately, Joe, like the benefits of a smart lighting system outweigh the risks. Can you talk us through some case studies? For example, let's say I'm a homeowner, I hate the lighting in my house, I'm ready for a complete overhaul, and I'm intrigued by all the smart lighting technology. But where do I even begin? What are some things that I can be doing to enhance the way I live in my space?
Well, when we talk smart lighting, it sounds complicated, but in fact, the smartest lighting is simply a device that can be dimmed. And dimming any light source, especially, for example, in a bathroom, we seldom think about dimming a bathroom light source, except that when you have it dimmed, you will be amazed at how seldom you actually have it at its maximum output. So at the most basic level, dimming a single light source is actually a smart device. Ultimately, as we were just chatting about, you can then connect these various devices to create, for example, scenes where you can drive up to your driveway, hit a button on your phone, and actually have a path of lights going from the garage, say, to your bedroom. Or in the reverse, from your bedroom, you can hit a button at night and have a small path of lights actually leading you to your kitchen.
I think there's also a big home security aspect. So I think about if you're coming home late at night and you're walking into the house, instead of stumbling to try and find the light switch on the wall, you can have your lights turn on automatically. Or if you're out of town, you can program your lights to turn on remotely so that people don't realize you're out of town. So there's a lot of security benefits too, right?
Right. And some of the more advanced systems today actually have what's called the vacation feature that actually is continuously monitoring what you've done in the last 7 days. And so it's a very cool thing because what you do is when you go on vacation, you hit vacation mode and the lighting in your house will actually start reproducing exactly what happened in the previous 7 days. So it looks like a very lived-in home.
Yeah, and like you were saying, that you don't necessarily have to set this on a very strict schedule either. So you can have some adaptability with it too, right? If you were away from home and you just wanted to turn on one particular lamp at some random time, you could control that all from your phone.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Samantha Hart. I'm executive editor of Lighting Magazine and the Meredith Luxury Home Portfolio. And we are live at Lightivation 2019 in Dallas. We're in the Progress Lighting showroom with lighting experts Christine Voss and Joe Rey-Barreau. We're talking all things smart lighting. And now I'm going to have my guests here look into the crystal ball and tell us what they are seeing on the horizon. What should we be expecting in the smart lighting world in 5 years or 10 years?
So one of the things that's just actually coming out, and it's been in process for a couple years, is Li-Fi. So this is where you can actually get Wi-Fi from a light source above you. That creates a faster data processing that you wouldn't have with Wi-Fi.
That's really, so it's essentially your lighting is creating the wireless in your home.
Correct.
And when should we expect to see this out in the marketplace?
I know it's already out. I mean, Joe can maybe back me up on this. We've seen it already in play in the field, so I don't think it's far behind.
Excellent. And so we might be getting some questions in. Please do post your questions in the comments box so that we can answer them with our experts, any questions that you have. We wanted to talk a little bit more about some of the other benefits. So we've spoken about the benefit with security, we spoke about the benefit with mood, and what about from a functionality perspective? Because I also thought, in the bathroom, I've been to some really interesting trade shows where I've seen how lighting can be adjusted or controlled in the bathroom so that if you need to go to the restroom in the middle of the night, you're not turning on that bright light that's going to wake you up. So again, it comes back to dimmers and these smart systems, right?
Right. So again, I just want to reemphasize. So a smart light is actually a dimmable light. And one of the great benefits of LEDs that people also need to understand is that pretty much all LEDs are dimmable, except that all LEDs have a device called the driver. So whenever we're using smart technology, we have to connect the driver to whatever that technology is. So when you're shopping for these products, it's very important to talk to the person that you're buying it from and understand that relationship of how important it is to have the right dimmable device and the right dimming equipment to match them together.
I think that's a misconception actually about LEDs. Along with the light being really cold and blue, I think this idea that people sometimes think you can't dim LEDs like you can dim an incandescent. And that's not true at all.
Right. Well, not only that, but again, going back to the RGB, there's also a color tuning quality about them that's related to not color, but it's color. It's related to color. It's called color temperature, and that's kind of the warmth of the light. So there are many new sources available today in LEDs that are actually allowing you to create that warm light of incandescent. But at different times of day, you can actually change that color tuning experience to have a cooler light when you desire that to be in more favorable condition.
I mean, Christine, you have a smart lighting system in your own home.
I do.
What do you love about it? What are the best things about this system?
The best thing is the being able to dim the lights or turn the lights on before I actually approach my house. I can turn them on. I can set the schedule so that they'll come on before I get home from work, that they're already on. I can yell to Alexa. If I'm upstairs and I notice the kitchen lights are on, Alexa, shut off the kitchen lights. And they go off automatically.
Yeah. There's probably an energy saving aspect to all of this as well, where you're not leaving lights on, because you can also program lights, that when you walk out of a room, the lights will turn off.
In 15 minutes, right.
All of that. And so you're not just leaving the lights on. So I know my kids love to leave all the lights on throughout the house at all times.
Yes. That happens a lot in my house too. I'll look upstairs and I'll say, "Oh, the light's on. Alexa, shut off the bedroom light."
Okay, so we have some questions from our viewers.
Well, quick questions. First, Rachel would like to know why layering lighting is so important.
So Joe, you were speaking to this earlier. So Rachel wants to know, why is layering lighting so important?
So layering, again, comes back to a very simple idea, is that at various times of day, we have various activities that occur in a space. And so having multiple light sources, I'll give you an example. In a kitchen, it's usually my recommendation to my own clients that they think about at least 3 layers in the kitchen. That would include, for example, under cabinet lighting is 1 layer, maybe recessed lighting around the perimeter, and maybe a central decorative chandelier. Today with LED lighting, you can also do a lot of interesting things with in-cabinet lighting that would give you a 4th layer, or even toe kick lighting, where at night you can actually have a night light available so that when you come into the space, there's always something there available to you. So the greatest benefit is that you can modulate the lighting for different activities, when necessarily having 1 light may not always provide you with that option.
Absolutely.
Brendan wants to know if LED lights can go from warm to cool.
Can LED lights go from warm to cool?
Absolutely.
Do you want to take this?
Absolutely. And that's when we were talking about the color bulbs. You can have different temperatures, basically, within the bulb. You can go from a white to a warm, to a blue, to a red, to a purple. You can change the light to any color on certain bulbs, that is.
And that's important to emphasize, is that it's not every LED source. So
Right.
you have to look for what are referred to by various names. There's one manufacturer, for example, that calls them warm dim, that actually allows you to dim the LED in the same way that when you dim incandescent, it actually changes color. So you can reproduce that incandescent experience. But not all LED sources, it's important
Correct.
to emphasize, have that capability. But I think we're moving in a direction where eventually you're going to see more and more products by their nature be able to be controlled in that way.
Interesting. Yes.
Another question for Christine this time. Can you tell us what CSA is doing to ensure our homes can't be hacked, to shut down our Wi-Fi or open our doors? for
Sure.
example?
So CSA currently has a cybersecurity program that we are doing certification. So manufacturers can come to CSA and make sure that their wall units and their dimmers are meeting the requirements so that hackers cannot get into the dimmer via the Wi-Fi when you're on a public space.
And so consumers, should they look out for the CSA certification? Are products branded with that in some way?
So I want to clarify, because the CSA mark is needed in North America for lighting. So you will see that mark on your product. But what you need to do as a consumer is make sure the manufacturer is following the cybersecurity guidelines. There's not exactly a mark that's on the market yet that's mandatory, so it can be a little misguided.
Well,
and
it kind of goes
confused.
back to you saying also look out for brand name manufacturers. Don't just buy
Right.
the cheapest thing. Make sure, because if it is a brand name, then they've been through this process and they have that certification.
Right, exactly.
Are you with the RGB bulbs? Are you aware of any that can change color using Alexa or another connected device?
Can we change the colors of bulbs using Alexa, talking to Alexa?
Yes, and I mean, you asked earlier about where are we headed, and I think that verbal communication, oral communication with our devices is going to be the future of all of these things, but definitely these light bulbs can be controlled through your Alexa or your Google device.
Are those all of our questions for today?
So far, so
Okay.
there may be a couple more that come in.
Well, if you are looking for more information about lighting, you want to learn more about smart lighting tech, you can absolutely visit your nearest ALA member showroom. You can also pick up a copy of Lighting Magazine. This is on newsstands now, or you can go to alalighting.com, and there's tons of information there as well. Because I really do want to thank our guests, Christine and Joe, for being with us today and sharing all of their insights. And thank you for joining us for this chat. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.